Our group provides information to people who want to name Watchtower on their estate planning documents, perhaps as a beneficiary on a retirement account, insurance policy, bank account. We also get calls from attorneys and executors telling us about a new estate. We generally have about 300 open estate files that we're working on.
Yeah, that is quite a bit. Now, we know you also get a lot of phone calls every week. Can you give us an idea of the volume there?
It's only an estimate, but it's at least 100 calls a week. Many of them are simple. How to name a Watchtower as the beneficiary. They're interested in donating real property. Sometimes we get a nice surprise on one of the calls.
A surprise? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
For example, we got a call from a brother. The voice sounded a little bit feeble, somewhat elderly. He asked about a specific donation arrangement, and the sister told him, brother, you have to understand that the minimum for this is $5,000. There was a pause, and he said, well, I'll be putting in $1 million.
That's a very kind gesture on the brother's part. Now, of course, you get these phone calls. Are you always able to answer all the questions over the phone?
Usually, but sometimes there's unusual circumstances. For example, last year in April, a brother who's 99 years old donated stock as an outright gift. It was $23 million worth of stock.
Good morning, everybody. Hope everyone is having a good Monday. Got some news here to cover. First, I'm going to show the clip that was on the Australian news in response to the Jehovah's Witness not joining the redress scheme.
Social Services Minister Anne Ruston has put Jehovah's Witnesses on notice. Following our story last night, the Senator warned the organisation will face sanctions if it fails to sign up to the National Redress Scheme by the June 30 deadline. It has so far refused, claiming it doesn't have the institutional settings the scheme is designed to cover.
So I want to thank everybody who sent me the link to that. I appreciate it. Yeah, glad to see the government responding to Jehovah's Witnesses. And did you guys catch? They will have sanctions put against them. Great news, great news. And I hope and pray that all of the abuse survivors get everything, that they can. I hope they get some justice. And I think most of them just want some closure. All they wanted was just to be acknowledged and for Watchtower to accept responsibility, which we know they won't. They will never accept responsibility for anything. They don't even accept the responsibility for the 1975 fiasco. And that is a little thing. So if they won't even accept responsibility for that, and they want to blame the rank and file, imagine how they feel about all of these child abuse victims. They don't care. They don't care. Now I want to thank Adam Phillips, the designer of Watchtower Property Tracker. He has done a rebuttal against Watchtower's statement, and he's given me permission to read it, so thank you, Adam. I think it's important, and I do want to read this. Excuse the noise in the background. I'm running my dishwasher. Had to finally wash some dishes. Statement to the project regarding the National Redress Scheme and the sale of Kingdom Halls and properties. To whom it may concern. This article is a rebuttal to the statement by Jehovah's Witnesses regarding the National Redress Scheme and the sales of Kingdom Halls and properties. The Jehovah's Witness statements are in bold. My comments are in red. I am an ex-Jehovah's Witness who served at the level of ministerial servant in the Jehovah's Witnesses, and my father was an elder and congregation overseer. I have also served on their Kingdom Hall building projects and at one of the Watchtower Society branch offices. I developed and run the crowdsourced worldwide Watchtower property tracking database, As such, I am qualified to render a response and rebuttal to the Jehovah's Witness statement to the project. Regards, Adam Phillips, and aka Awake from the Watchtower. And that is also the name of his Facebook page, Awake from the Watchtower. The rebuttal follows. The religion of Jehovah's Witnesses does not have the institutional settings that the voluntary national redress scheme is designed to cover. And that was a big question mark for us too in our video. His comment, the national redress scheme does not cover the setting of abuse. Rather, it addresses the abuse itself within the totality of an organization, perpetrated by members of the organization and the organization's inaction towards that abuse, irrespective of where that abuse happened. And he's absolutely right. After we did our video, I had several emails of people saying they do have programs. They have their mentoring program. Even an ex-elder's wife, she says, yes, they have mentoring programs for children within the organization. All of us know that. All of us. Look at their mentoring program with the pioneers that would help like the preteen and teenagers, you know, get out and service more. That was one of their programs. Liars. Liars. Therefore, the Ministry for Families and Social Services has been advised that Jehovah's Witnesses will not join the scheme. His comment, if Jehovah's Witnesses join the scheme, that would be an admission of guilt. And that's what all of us have been saying. And Jehovah's Witnesses believe they are never wrong because their doctrine dictates that their Almighty God Jehovah communicates directly with their guardians of doctrine, their governing body. If they admit guilt, that will make their God and doctrine wrong. Exactly right, Adam. It brings reproach on their God Jehovah. Jehovah's Witnesses understand that to date there have been less than 10 applicants to the redress scheme who have referred to the religion of Jehovah's Witnesses. How many applicants does it take before Jehovah's Witnesses admit they have a child abuse problem? 100? 1,000? Jehovah's Witnesses have a severe form of censure called disfellowshipping and disassociation, i.e. shunning, where they psychologically hold Jehovah's Witness family members and friends as hostage. If you speak out about their religion, including reporting your abuse to the authorities, you will be shunned by your family and friends because of the insular culture of the cult. The victim often has no friends or family outside the cult. This has driven many to not come forward to report, and some have even resorted to suicide instead of facing the alternative of shunning. And he's exactly right. He's exactly right. They know what will happen. Jehovah's Witnesses have responded and will continue to respond directly to the individual claims for redress in a caring, fair, and principled manner, taking into consideration the unique circumstances of each claim. We said in our video yesterday, no they don't. Every single one of the abuse survivors we know personally, they didn't get fair hearing, they didn't get caring. Adam's response, no they will not. Jehovah's Witnesses will hold their own internal kangaroo court called a judicial committee, presided by 3 males, where the victim is not allowed anyone present for emotional or legal support, and where often they will have to meet with and face their abuser in person. A traumatic experience in itself. The result will be the disfellowshipping of the victim and sometimes the abuser as well. The findings of that meeting will not be provided to authorities. This is a bullying tactic, no matter which way you spin it. Also, elders are instructed at regular special training sessions to protect Jehovah's Witnesses and Watchtower Society funds at all cost. And boy, ain't that the truth. Now remember, Adam is the son of an elder. and the congregation overseer. And he worked at the branch. The way that Watchtower Society has structured the charities in Australia ensures that each congregation will have to take individual accountability. Exactly, and that's what I explained about how businesses are set up. Whether it's a business or a 501c3 church, this is how they're all set up. This is how the Catholic Church is set up. That each one of these little dioceses takes the hit, the responsibility. And when they're out of money, Catholic Church throws them under the bus. Same thing with Watchtower. We already see them throwing elders under the bus. But they also ensure that the individual congregations are kept poor. Right about that. They've taken all their money. So that they are unable to pay financial redress. They will never pay any redress, as that would be an admission of guilt. The Watchtower Society will give the victim the runaround until the victim gives up or runs out of funds to pursue the matter. And we hear this over and over again. The Religion of Jehovah's Witnesses also provides spiritual comfort and assistance to child abuse victims and their families. If shunning does not occur because of coming forward, they will be threatened with shunning if the victim speaks out to anybody. The victim lives in a perpetual state of fear. This is not comfort and support. Well, remember when the Australian Royal Commission did its conclusion of findings a couple of years ago, Commissioner McKellen said that you take away the Jehovah's Witness, the victims, you take away their support system, family and everything, and they said this was cruel. Yes, Commissioner McKellen called the Jehovah's Witness organization cruel.
He or she can choose to be no longer an active member of the congregation.
Understand that? Well, it's a pretty cruel way of dealing with someone, isn't it, who has suffered sexual abuse.
I could only repeat what I've said, Your Honour.
No, that it's cruel, isn't it? To take away, by reason of the rules that you impose, all of their social structure. That's cruel.
Also, the congregations are not informed of the reason for the victims or abusers disfellowshipping, so the congregation remains unaware of the problem. The congregation cannot provide comfort and assistance if they remain unaware of the problem in the first place or cannot even talk about it. So true. The maximum extent of Jehovah's Witnesses' spiritual comfort and assistance is to pray more, study their own publications more, and preach more. Also, no elder is formally qualified or even trained to handle the psychological, legal, or practical aspects of child abuse cases. And then look at the Australian Royal Commission. Those guys admitted when they were elders they destroyed their notes. They are wholly unqualified to provide comfort or assistance, and as policy are forbidden to provide financial help. Very true. The Royal Commission into Institutional Responses to Child Abuse acknowledged that Jehovah's Witnesses do not have the institutional settings that exist in many faith-based institutions. That is because to run such institutional settings costs money, and Jehovah's Witnesses are incredibly tight-fisted and non-transparent regarding their finances. Exactly. Jehovah's Witnesses have not sponsored any programs or activities that separate children from their parents at any time. And like I said, I disagree with that, and so do many others. This is Adam's comment. This is legalistically correct, but at the same time, a totally inaccurate statement. It is true that they do not sponsor programs separating children from their parents. Sponsorship implies use of funds. In that sense, the statement is correct. It is also entirely inaccurate because there are many unsponsored activities that are encouraged among Jehovah's Witnesses. These activities include, but are not limited to, teaming up with non-family members in their public preaching work, volunteer assignments at their conventions and kingdom halls, socializing exclusively with other Jehovah's Witnesses, including private gatherings, sleepovers, etc. Because of the ingrained indoctrination that all Jehovah's Witnesses are loving and can be trusted, and how naive they pretend to be about pedophile psychology, all of these unsponsored activities provide ample opportunities for sick-minded individuals to perpetrate child abuse. Now, we mentioned years ago in a video about an incident where a young teenage girl was asked to help be security for a construction site at a Kingdom Hall, if I remember correctly, where some things happened. A young teenage girl. Disturbing. Now he starts going into property, and since this is 5 pages, I'm sorry, Adam, but I'm not gonna read all of this. But I am going to go into the property, because this is good where he's rebutting about the property. Due to population movement and changing demographics, from time to time it is necessary to sell some kingdom halls and purchase others. Since some kingdom halls have been used for decades, it is more economical to sell them than to renovate them. We all remember that, Jim. Adam's comment: the Jehovah's Witnesses have failed to disclose that most of the cost of the buildings was borne by the individual congregation members who donated their own money to purchase the land and materials needed to build or buy a kingdom hall. Many congregants also donate their own time and expertise for free to build and provide ongoing maintenance of their kingdom halls. The Watchtower Society has not provided this initial capital, labor, or materials for most of these projects and does not assist with ongoing maintenance. In cases where the Watchtower Society did provide the initial capital, the congregation is expected to A, pay back the initial capital as if they were paying back to a bank, and we've covered, years ago they had the loans. B, provide ongoing maintenance at their own congregation expense. And C, provide Watchtower Society ownership of the building by signing the deed over to them. Therefore, the profit that Watchtower Society makes from selling halls they didn't actually pay for is huge. And then how did Jehovah's Witnesses determine where kingdom halls are located is explained in the video found on our website, and they had the link. Love this, Adam. This is a typical propaganda piece to lull the average Jehovah's Witness congregant into a false sense of security, and at the same time ensure that donations keep flowing into the parent organization, namely and ultimately the Watchtower Society headquarters in the United States of America. Oh yeah. Yeah. Over the past 5 years, Jehovah's Witnesses in Australia have purchased 7 new properties, constructed 17 new kingdom halls, and undertaken 430 renovations. These figures and the details of each property address are not itemized in their financial reports. This is an attempt to obfuscate their financial transactions. To help offset the cost of these building projects, 27, offset them? Like Adam's talking about. They don't have to offset anything. The congregants, the members pay for all of this. They don't have to offset anything. Oy vey. 27 kingdom halls and 11 plots of annexed land were sold during the same 5-year period, and an additional $11 million was invested in these new building projects. Adam's comment: the Jehovah's Witnesses have not published or disclosed the property details, i.e. addresses, or the proceeds from each sale. The Watchtower Property Tracker tool run by XJWs tries to track Jehovah's Witness property portfolio worldwide using public property listings and crowdsourced data. The tracker is available here, and he has the link. For Jehovah's Witness Kingdom Halls in Australia, we have tracked only 21 sales since 2009. So that means there's 6 more that we don't know about. Of these sales, 2 properties sold for an undisclosed amount. Even so, the total sales value was over $22 million Australian dollars. And then he has the list of what we have in Australia. For Jehovah's Witness vacant land in Australia, we have tracked only 1 sale for the total sale value of $1 million Australian. So, there's 10 we don't even know about. Current Jehovah's Witness properties for sale that we know about but not yet sold amount to over $3 million in potential revenue. And then he has the list of those. For Jehovah's Witnesses in New Zealand, which operate under the Watchtower Australian branch, we have tracked a total property sale portfolio of over 18 million New Zealand dollars. This includes the sale of the New Zealand branch office for $14.5 million in 2013. Altogether, Watchtower Australia have grossed over $44 million in property portfolio that we have tracked. By their own admission, they have sold property that we have not yet been able to track. It is quite possible that the total value of property sold under the management of Watchtower Australia could exceed 50 million Australian dollars. Therefore, if the Jehovah's Witnesses have only spent $11 million, as they claim, that leaves about $39 million unaccounted for. And that is the big question all of us have been asking. So thank you, Adam, for that. We appreciate it. You all have a wonderful day. Bye.